Good morning. Hello, everyone. This is Brandy Ray. I am sending you a quick video today to first acknowledge you and to tell you thank you. Thank you for responding to the call in the community for the Atlanta Public Schools districts a summer proposal for services and that your organization meets the minimum requirements of eligibility to apply for this program. So a round of applause for you. And to also say thank you for entrusting me to help you write your grant, to put your program into a written context, to apply for a major funding stream from your organization, and most importantly, matching your passion with a profit model. Most of you all have been serving in the community for quite some time, doing amazing work with our young people, but are looking for more diversified ways to bring revenue into your organization. And this is a prime opportunity for your organization to match with Atlanta Public Schools because I'm also an Atlanta Public School vendor. So we at College Clinic have won both the summer programs for this past summer as well as the contract that is activated now for the after school programs for all Atlanta Public Schools. So that is guaranteed funding streams in both of those categories of summer programming and after school program for 4 years guaranteed as an APS vendor. And so I welcome you into this space working with school districts. This will be an amazing and exciting time. And I'm honored to help you transition into this space. So I wanted to send you a video about the scope of services and to go over the RFP until we meet for our first engagement meeting. This video is meant for you to get ready for activation of this amazing grant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a split screen so you can take a look at the scope of services that was forwarded over to you in this email with this video. Okay. So we're going to bounce between what I would like for you to have open is the proposal for services as well as the APS RFP. I have mine already printed out in my favorite binder. I have it printed out and I've been reading it since its release to get familiarized. And we'll talk about the importance of why you need to do that as well. So your scope of services, this is your packet. It's a 6-page packet that describes the services of who I am and what we will provide to each other during the course of this service. Now, the cost of services, the scope of services, the project overview, it states that we'll be working together to create the response to the request for proposal for APS summer programming. The total cost of these services is $1,497 to be made in 2 payments. Anything out of the scopes of services here will go to my rate of $197 of any services that are rendered outside of this contract unless we enter into a new agreement. Your method of payment will be by cashier or business check or the PayPal link that is located in this email. Your first payment will be due at time of services of engagement. So once we go through this proposal, you'll sign and date it, make your first investment, and then you will be forwarded emails with next steps, calendar invites, and everything pertaining to this proposal. The term of this services is literally 24 business days. So we do not have a lot of time, and we have a holiday in the midst of all of this. One of my favorite type of grants, when there's a holiday, because a lot of work can be done, but it also has this handicap that if you need resources from other people, this is why time of the essence, because we're going to lose about a week before or a week after, depending on if there's any type of decision makers within your organization may be out on vacation with your family. So just keep in mind different deadlines and benchmarks we have between now and the submission date, which is on the 25th, but we extend our contract to the 30th because that's when we're going to do our implementation plan of this project. You're going to make sure that you have video capability. All of our communication will be through this video conferencing. If you don't have your video screen readily available, if there's some type of tech issues, there's a dial-in number with your calendar invites to make sure that we're interactively engaged. So here are our scope of services. We have a very compressed amount of time. So we're doing this in date phases. We'll have our orientation call on Friday, August the 25th. The first week, we'll have the assessment of collateral and what are your grant needs. And then we'll work towards our drafts. We will go through 3 different drafts, our final draft, submission, and then our implementation process, or your implementation plan and your summary of my services will happen 2 days after your grant is submitted, just to give you, number one, understand the whole magnitude of what you're applying for. And then once we get that concrete, then I can develop your implementation plan to let you know how you're going to implement the services and spend down the grant. And then what does it mean to your organization to have this 4-year type of opportunity? There's also renewable services that are available, which is the after-school program request for proposal at $1,497. So what that means is that your APS opened this opportunity for summer programs. They are probably going to open up the after-school portal opportunities as well. So once you are approved in both of those different categories, there's a world of opportunities that can happen with you with APS. However, a lot of the content will be developed through this application, but there are minor changes. They may or may not change the RFP from when I did it, but it's pretty much same linear. But there are some additional questions that I'll help you write, gather that draft, because of course your summer programs look different than your after school programs because there's a longer engagement. After that, at phase 3, you have the opportunity that I can help you write your 3 grants or proposals that help support this funding stream of opportunity. One thing that you'll learn about government or school district funding is that it is there's not a lot of profit margin in what it is that you're doing. So you want to make sure that you create diversified funding streams into your organization, and I can help support that of a rate of $997. We'll work together, find 3 different grant proposals that are up to $50,000, and we'll work on that, and we'll talk about the time frame of how we get that done. But these type of grants, like the APS summer school and the after school grant, create really great content for your organization to be able to copy and paste similar questions, because grants always ask you about 90% of the same questions. This is one of those grants. So let's talk about the benefit of our partnership. Like I said, this is a 4-year approved summer program vendor all the way up into 2022. So what this means is that, as an example, if your grant, let's just say you wanted $10,000 for your services for the summertime, well, you can be able to forecast with your budget and with your board of directors that, hey, for the next 4 years, we do what we need to do with our contract. We can project $10,000 on the book. This is great when you're looking for matching grant opportunities and different funding streams, to know you're already coming to the table as long as you secure that opportunity with the principal and or the school. Then again, what this does is this just rolls you into the candidacy for the after school program with APS. So again, if you take that same $10,000 budget, maybe you're expanding it to 15 because it's longer after school programs, again, another $40,000. So by 2022, you can project $80,000 coming into your organization. This is the magnitude of what your possibilities are with Atlanta Public Schools or any type of school district with this type of formula. We will develop your up-to-date program description. Like I said, you use it in future grants. Your budget, nailing down those numbers so your board of directors can vote on it, so you can go get the money and so they can go fundraise. An implementation plan. This is very critical for executive directors because you will have a plan of what happens when the money comes in. And so this is a great understanding and technical assistance that I provide to organizations, whether you get the award or not, so you understand invoicing, what reimbursement contract is, and that's what this grant is reimbursement, and understanding what does it mean to be a vendor with a school district, because once you do it in one, you rinse and repeat it to other school districts. A grant project management tools that you'll learn how to get yourself organized through this grant, and how you can rinse and repeat this model in other processes in your organization. And again, ready to use templates that will prompt brainstorming and clarity conversations that we have as we ask and respond to the grant questions. Now, I'm gonna need your support. You wanna make sure that when I send you different questionnaires and that you have your video technology up to date, that is in a great responsive time. We're gonna have our communication strategy. I'll send you calendar invites, make sure that you respond and be ready and available and come prepared to our meetings. I'm gonna provide you with a checklist to make sure that you have certain documents and resources to make sure that the information is shared. Me as a grant writer, there are different understandings about memberships to professional development that I'll make you aware of during the implementation plan of this proposal, as well as the daily communications of email and technical assistance. So what I'm gonna need from you, and I'll provide a more comprehensive checklist when we enter into our agreement, is if paper or electronic versions of your previous submitted grant applications. If you don't have any, then it'll be existing program content. Making sure that I have contact information from any of past, maybe grant or planning teams that you may have. If there's any additional questions that I may need to ask them, if that pertains to your organization. I need to have access to your program files, so you'll make sure that you'll put that on a shared drive so we can connect electronically. And then any additional resources that you deem necessary in order for me to complete this grant to the best of my ability. Now, what I will make sure that will happen is that we'll create a project strategy. I'll make recommendations of how to automate some of your program offerings that you have, recommend your community partnerships, and then the tracking mechanisms you need to put in place to implement this grant. And that is how I provide the nonprofit consulting to this grant, and then a project in summary that describes my services. Now, in order to confirm this agreement, please make sure that you read this proposal and watch this video, share it with your board of directors if needed to understand the full commitment of this project. You will sign and return this page here at the bottom. And that you will make your first payment by close of business on the 27th, I'm sorry, by noon on the 27th. If the payment is not received at this time, then this contract will be null and void because I need maximum time in order to work on such a robust grant for you. You'll need to make sure that you'll create a user profile in APS's submission portal. That's how you got all of the information for the RFP. You need to make yourself available for Friday, September the 7th at 10 a.m. for the pre-proposal conference. This is when you ask all of your questions. This is when you meet the other people that are also going to be vendors. So it's really necessary for you to show your face in the place. Make sure that you create a shared drive and upload all the documents and give me permission to edit, not just to view, but to edit in your Google shared drive. I want you to print this out. Like, I know that it's 71 pages, but as an executive director, like, this is what you have to do. Because if you're reading it through your phone or your tablet, you may or may not be able to highlight, but when you start printing out paper, it gets real Also, there are a lot of documents that you have to sign and or notarize and upload, so you got to print it out anyway, especially the contract. You want to make sure that you need to read it at least once a day up until our second call, and to familiarize yourself with the requirements and what your program design needs to look like. So these are the things that you need to make sure that you are doing in the interim between now and call number 2. So there are different documents that need your signature. This is how you get in the mental mindset of that you're working on the grant, because by the time that we have our next call, all of these documents need to be completed. You also need to read the agreement, because you'll need to sign that as part of the agreement. Look at the price proposal as well as the questions. And you will sign and date that and return it to me by the specified date. This is a little bit of my bio here, of the work that I've done in the community, and then professional references if you choose to reach out to the references. That is the proposal. I'd like to jump over very quickly to the APS proposal. So in video number 2, this is your proposal video. In video number 2, I'm going to go through the proposal, or the request for proposal for Atlanta Public Schools. So if you have any questions, make sure that you contact me via email at brandyrayhicks@gmail.com, and we can communicate through Instant Messenger on Google Chat. So I look forward to working with you soon, and I'll see you during orientation. Thanks, and talk to you soon.